All right, welcome back to part 3. We got a few more things to check out here on the exterior and a few things that I want to make sure you guys do look at under the hood that may have gotten skipped in the last video. All right, so a couple of things that we want to check out here for sure is going to be the battery itself. It should be clean and dry, and it should be secure. Double check that our connections are good and tight. And again, I want 12.66 volts out of that battery. If it's got less than 12.66 volts, that may be an indication that our battery is getting weak. Remember, anything under about 12.3, and we're going to start worrying about that battery a little bit and looking at this longevity of its life. Underneath the hood, we also want to check our ABS unit and any of the brake lines over here, and you want to check the snorkel that goes all the way over to the air cleaner. All right, I want to make sure that there's no cracks or anything in that. Any cracks in that snorkel is going to cause a check engine light and poor drivability, and that's because the mass airflow sensor doesn't know what's going on and it's not getting the right amount of air across that sensor. So any kind of damage to that snorkel is going to be a problem for us. So next we're going to go to the exterior lights on the vehicle. All right, we're going to walk around the vehicle. We should check the exterior lights. We have side markers on the vehicle for the turn signals. All right, we have markers on the outside of the vehicle here. We have our running lights. Don't forget our license plate light. That is a surefire way for your customer to get pulled over. All right, all the way around, everything's in good shape here. While you're doing that, check the mirrors. Check the wipers. Make sure that they don't have any problems. You might have a wiper on the back of the vehicle. All right, any kind of damage on the vehicle that the customer may have, you may indicate that, and they may know about it. Okay, some old headlights are going to start to fog over a little bit. You can indicate those things as well. All right, and then we got to make sure that the turn signals work on this vehicle. All right, so our side markers, we have a turn signal functioning both front and back. It's nice to have the door closed in order for that to show up for us when we're the only one doing this. All right, we have a right signal on the vehicle, walking around, making sure that those work. We also have our indicator on the side of the vehicle, and the front turn signals are working also. All right, we want to double check that the brake lights also work. May have to open up the door, hit the brake lights. All right, make sure you have all 3 of them, of course, and then the reverse lights themselves. Okay, so those checks are all going to be done every time that we do an oil change, and we're going to correspond that with, like I said, lessons 6, 7, and 8. So to conclude, on page 10 here, the lights, the turn signals, don't forget if it has fog lights, the hazards themselves, you want to double check that the hazard lights work. Any hood lights that underneath the license plate, underneath the hood, any of those things, we want to double check those. Running lights, cornering lights, and turn signals. Don't forget about the reverse lights. Again, the key's got to be on for that. Engine off, key on, engine off. All right. Looking at the fog lights, the front fascia, if there's any damage to that, you want to make sure and indicate that with the grille, the bumper, any of that stuff, you want to indicate that. Any scratches on the vehicle that you see or any kind of stuff that looks new or damaged, the customer may not know about it. All right. Okay, so some points to review for lesson 6. We are on page 11 in the GW hands-on maintenance and light repair. Our points to review are that a vehicle inspection is dedicated for Part A to mostly the underhood inspection and testing, engine functional test, interior and exterior inspection and testing. All right, we want to analyze the differences in reasoning between a technician making a suggestion of service or a service suggested and a service required. Remember, red, service required, immediate attention needed. Service suggested, yellow box, we check that off if we had a light bulb that was out and it was, for example, a cornering light or something. It's something that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later, but not necessarily going to keep the vehicle from operating. When performing a vehicle inspection, we want to make detailed notes on the inspection form. Any items that are marked service suggested or service required, just indicate what they need and your suggestions. All right? And it's okay to write down, see me for further details if it's something that's extensive that you can't just write in a little box. Also checking the fluid levels and other vehicle maintenance items as part of our vehicle inspection. A few more points to review. We want to verify the operation of all the interior functions and controls. Every car is going to be different, guys. So you're going to have to know what you're looking for, and you want to document any issues if you find them. 99% of the time, you're not going to be familiar with that vehicle as the customer is. So do your very best. You guys have good deductive reasoning, and go ahead and inspect those things inside. And anything that brings to question, mark it yellow and tell the customer to see you for further details. Inspect the vehicle's exterior, last bullet point. We want to check for any kind of inoperative parts, damage to the paint, bumpers or glass. If it has a gas release for the gas cap or a trunk release, you want to make sure that those do work properly. Any cracked glass, any damage, you want to indicate those and make sure that you make those suggestions to your customer. All right.